Alright, so this is Jason and Jennifer's in there, and we're on the so-called $1 Million Highway going from Ouray up to Silverton. Our friend Jeff says that they call it the $1 Million Highway because of all the ore that was lost creating it. That wasn't processed. Not really sure, I haven't looked that up yet. But there's a mine over there, looks like. And we left Montrose before Aja and everybody so that we could try to climb our slow butts up here before everybody else got here, because our rig is slow. We took the car off whenever we hit Ouray to try to lighten our load a bit, but it is still having a real hard time. These switchbacks are just insane. You can't really see it, but between that road up there and where we are, there are switchbacks. Like that little slope right there is one. So that truck will probably hit a couple and then show up right there going down. It's just really, really steep. And if you get any speed at all, God forbid, going uphill, then you have to slow down to 10 miles an hour to avoid tipping over going around the hairpin turns. So it's just being really hard on our 25-year-old RV. And whenever we were in Montrose, we washed the car. It was sparkling clean, but then we had it on the dolly and it got all filthy again because we hit some rain. But we are in the process of selling the car to get a tracker, and that is it. Waiting for the transmission mainly to cool down in the RV, and then we're going to keep going. Not sure if Aja and them are if they're stopping in Ouray to eat, or if they're just staying in Montrose for a little while longer. But we'll probably see Bruce first, because his bus, he wants to be in front also so that he can not slow people down. So we might see Bruce and then maybe see Aja, and then on our way up to Silverton. So that's it. The views up here are stunning. And we're going up there where those Jeeps are going. All switchbacks to the lake up there.
It's a water tank. It's got to be a water tank. I think so. No, that's that.
And this is, according to the Colorado Trails map, this is Ice Lake Basin. Just calling it up on the photo. And there's a lake here. Maybe it is Ice Lake. The lady over there says she just caught a fish. There are fish way up there. But yeah, it's just miles of very steep, rocky switchbacks that only four-wheel drives and motorcycles can get to. And hikes. Very cool. Alright, we're leaving. So, this is Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. We're in the mountains just south or just north of Silverton, and we got up in the morning and it's like 40 degrees outside and there's snow on those mountains now, and on those up there too. It didn't get cold enough to freeze the puddles or anything. It did rain a lot. The weather report said that it might snow, but I don't think it's going to snow. Although whenever we were at Ice Pond or Ice Lake or whatever on the 4x4 trip yesterday, it was hailing on us, or freezing rain as Jimmy said. But luckily the furnace is working, so it's nice and warm inside. It's like a whole 60 degrees inside. And now we're going to go to town and get some water. Hey, this is Jason and Jennifer, and we decided that we're getting the balance and alignment and oil change done on the car in Silverton, Colorado. So we brought the bikes, and we're gonna go see old mines and points of interest around Silverton. And
While we're waiting.
yeah, while we're waiting. And we didn't bring Jet because we probably will hit a restaurant later, and we just didn't want to have to worry about him. So we just turned the AC on in the rig and left him there. So anyway, this is explaining that Silverton, specifically the Mayflower Mill, pioneered the practice of taking mine tailings and putting them in ponds, like damming them up and putting them in little tailings ponds to dry out the wet tailings. And then they took the dried out tailings and piled them up here in these two big piles. These are just a couple of tailings piles. I mean, if you're familiar with mines, you know that they're everywhere. There's another one up there. But before that practice, the miners would just dump the tailings in the river. And this down here is the Animas River. It's one of the cleanest rivers that goes through the area. The river or stream that we're camped on is the Mineral Creek, and that's actually very polluted with mercury and arsenic and a lot of other heavy metals from the mines. So that's one of the dirtier water sources, and they say not to drink out of it. You probably don't even really want to swim in it, but this one is fine. This is nice clean water apparently. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff. And that up there is the Mayflower Mill, where the gentleman that decided to not dump the tailings into the river, that's his mill. And they offer self-guided tours, which we're going to go and try to do. However, normally you buy tickets for this in the museum that's in town, but because of COVID-19, the museum's closed, so we may not be able to do a self-tour. We'll see. Alright, so I believe this is the Mayflower Mill that I mentioned in another clip. And this is probably one of the tailings ponds that they were talking about. Just there for example, maybe. But it is closed because of COVID-19. They don't have any staff here. They need more staff to make sure that everybody follows the rules. And since they don't have that staff, it's just easier to be closed. You see that a lot out here. But this is a holiday weekend and it's very, very busy. I mean, the campground that we're in is insane. It's just completely full of people. We had people coming up and asking if they could park next to us because there was no other room, which I was like, I don't care. Go ahead. But it's still fun to be here. I would like to come back later on whenever they have the Silverton steam train going. Steam locomotive. That would be neat to go on. So, oh yeah, and these are buckets that you probably can't see them very well, but there's cables suspended above the valley here, and there's mining buckets hanging from them. And we went on a walk down there with Aja and them a couple days ago, and right below the buckets is a lot of rusty cable in the water. And then you could also see along the river where it was shored up over the years to keep the I think this is an old rail line that goes next to the Animas River. So I think what happened is that probably this cable way fell down at some point and they just strung up a new one. But it's neat. It'd be neat to go up there and see the mine that the ore is coming from. But one of our friends said that it's actually it's a very steep road. It's 4x4 only, We could try to get up there with the bikes, but we've tried that before, and it's it's no fun with no suspension. But we might try anyway. We'll see.
We made it to the Animas River, and it's just beautiful. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is like a painting. And the weather is just perfect today. With those fluffy clouds.
Waste another day, eyes on my display. You say we need a change, and I feel that you mean it. You mean it. But you're so right, we're losing track of time, buying things online, and it's not like we need them. We don't need them. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow down. Embrace the love we found. For you and I were safe and sound. And we just slow down. For you and I were safe and we were on the run, rocking around the clock. Now all we need is right here in front of us. In front of us. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow down. Embrace the love we found. For you and I were safe and sound. Can we just slow down? And we just slow waste another day. I don't know to say. You say we need a change, and feel that you mean it. But you're so right, we're losing track of time, buying things online, it's not like we need them. Safe and sound.
So continuing on up the Animas River here. This is east of Silverton, Colorado. And there's just random ruins off the side of the river that I thought were interesting. It's like an old tower over there. On the other side of the river, there's some foundations and stuff. And this, I think, every once in a while, whenever we're riding along this, there's exposed railroad ties in the middle of the trail. And then also off over here, there's more railroad ties. So, yeah. This was probably another mill or something back in the day. But now this is all private property, and there's houses over here. But neat. I always find all this stuff real fascinating. I like ruins I don't know what that is, but I can't get to it because it's private property. Anyway, continuing on, we're probably going to turn around pretty soon and go back the way we came and then try to climb up the 4x4 trail on the other side of the river whenever we get back. See how that goes. Because this bike that I'm on is Jen's bike, and the controller failed while we were in Gunnison. And then our friend Bruce, his electric XP fell off the front of his bus and he ran over it. So it's completely demolished. His controller was having problems anyway, and the battery and controller survived. Those were the only pieces salvageable, really. So he let us use his controller while we're waiting for our replacement. Electric's been really good about fixing things that go wrong, and this is no exception. We told them that her controller failed and was giving an error 9, and they had us do some troubleshooting, but in the end they said, yeah, okay, it's the controller, we'll ship you a new one to Flagstaff. So anyway, for right now, the controller that's in this bike is anytime that the pedal assist is on, it's giving full throttle, like you're giving full throttle, and the only way to make it stop is to put on the brakes, which disconnects the motor. So I either have full throttle or nothing. So that's why you see me running around with, standing up on the bike, because it's going full speed ahead unless I'm hitting the brakes. But hey, it's sort of functional. I hear they can spit 50 feet.
You think so? They're pretty.
Oh, electric fence, huh?
Yeah, and we won't be touching the fence. Electric.
You probably don't want to get closer to it because it is pretty tempting. This is Jason and Jennifer again, and we stopped just up the road from Silverton, and I just wanted to show these ruins real quick. This road is a constant dust cloud right now. There is an unbelievable amount of traffic here because it's a holiday weekend. I mean, cars, 4x4s, razors, motorcycles, you name it. So gonna have to take showers later. I'm sure we're filthy, but this is all privately owned. Say hi, Jim.
Try to be honest, I'm not good at letting down my guard. I really want it. Before you, I was running in the dark. When you said this was goodbye, that's when I realized I can't live without you. I want you and only you. I got nothing left to lose. Oh, so I'll keep waiting for you. It's the only thing that I can do to keep my composure. Oh, I need you closer. I want you and only you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. try to be honest. I'm not good at letting down my guard. I really want it. Before you, I was running in the dark. When you said this was goodbye, that's when I realized I can't live without, I can't live without you. I want you and only you. I got nothing left to lose. Oh, so I'll keep waiting for you. It's the only thing that I can do to keep my composure. Oh, I need you closer. I want you and only you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. When you said this was goodbye, that's when I realized I can't live without, I can't live without you.
Your destination is on the right.
So what'd you get, sweetie?
I got a, I don't know, an elk burger, I think.
Looks good. We got French fries, lots of ranch. Really neat atmosphere. Well, we got back to the shop, and looks like he fixed our car, and it's all nice and clean now. Really nice of him. He cleaned our car. It was really dirty. And now we're just trying to figure out how to pay him and get our keys back so that we can go. But yeah, I think we're gone longer than he had expected. But yeah, I'm really impressed that he washed our car. So now we're just waiting, trying to figure out if he'll be back. If not, it's not a big deal. Our campsite's not that far away, and we can just ride our bike down there and then just ride our bike back here to pick it up again tomorrow. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. I mean, there's a lot of noise right here, but beside all the noise and traffic here, it's just beautiful. Take a look. It's a beautiful little town.
Well, it looks like we're gonna have to come back and get the car because the mechanic, he had to take off and go save some people that got stuck in the river. So yep, we'll just come back. We're only 6 miles down the road anyway, so we're just gonna ride the bikes back, and then I'll come back and get it once I get a call. No big deal. This place is crazy busy. But But this place, Animus Towing and Recovery, he's a good guy. If you're ever here and stuck with a flat tire or something.